a dominating campaign a season ago. Everything in 2014 except his performance was the discussion from October to February. Cole Hamels finished the best season of his career, but the question was, is he finished in Philadelphia? Spring training game number 4 has arrived, and taking the mound for the Phillies is Cole Hamels. This little guy right here has given everybody back home a tip. The perfect spot to get an autograph for either the Phillies or the Yankees is probably down the left field line here at Bright House Field. That's going to be filled with signatures by the end of the day. So is the berm going to be filled with folks not only watching the game, but also playing the game. It's game 4 of the spring between the Phils and the Yankees. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, joined by Ben Davis and Matt Stairs as we get set for Cole Hamels' spring debut. Matt, I'm going to talk to Ben first about Cole, and then I'm going to get back to you. You okay with that?
He's a lot bigger. Go ahead.
All right. So let's talk about Cole Hamels, Ben. Last year, even though the Phillies won just 73 games, he had an outstanding season.
He was awesome. I mean, there's no other adjective to describe how good he was. He's one of those pitchers, as an offensive player, you just don't want to face. And he was better than anybody, especially over his last 23 starts of the season, allowing 3 runs, earned runs or less in those 23 starts. Did with his fastball, his cutter. We all know about how great his changeup is. It's one of those pitches where if you can sit on it, still get it, and still not hit it. But I think the pitch that was very good was his breaking ball. He used it early in counts. But I think Cole Hamels got to a point where he knew he wasn't going to get a whole lot of run support. He basically said, I can't worry about that. I can just go out and do what I can do, and that is just mow hitters down.
Well, we saw the video of Chase Headley in one of these at-bats for the San Diego Padres. And, Matt, if you're Chase Headley or any hitter, what makes him so difficult to see?
Well, first of all, he's a gamer on the mound. And Chase Headley and I had a chat last year when he's with the Padres, now with the Yankees. He was saying it doesn't matter what he throws. Everything comes out of the same slot. His fastball, his curveball, his changeup, his cutter. For me, the biggest thing is he's always throwing strike one. And last year, we saw him top out at 96 miles an hour. He's matured a lot on the mound. But what I like seeing is that a lot of the hitters know he has a great cutter. They sit on the cutter, he starts at the inner half, they think it's going to come in the zone to right-handers, but all of a sudden now he's throwing that two-seamer. It's coming back over the plate, getting a lot of hitters off balance and looking. That's why he's getting a lot of strikeouts.
Yeah, I guess that's all part of the maturation of Cole Hamels. We knew he was good when he was young, but he just keeps getting better as he ages in this game. So he'll make his spring debut. He'll be opposed by Brian Mitchell, a guy who made his major league debut last season for the Yankees, and he'll be a swingman, AAA, the major leagues, depending on the Yankees' depth. Well, Ryan Howard the other day here at Bright House Field looked very comfortable, not only at the plate, picking up a couple of base hits, but also over at first base. The progression for Ryan Howard continues today. Lineups and first pitch when we get back. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Citizens Bank. Introducing One Deposit Checking. Keeping things simple is helping you bank better. By Toyota. Toyota's One for Everyone sales event is going on now. Toyota, let's go places. By Xfinity, the official entertainment provider of the Philadelphia Phillies. And by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Learn more at IVX.
When Martin
Yesterday was Cliff Lee, who made his spring training debut. He was outstanding. Today it's Cole Hamels who makes his spring training debut. And we asked Cole about the tough season as a team last year, how difficult that was for him as an individual.
It is tough. I think anytime that you set your sights every year to start spring and to start a season, it's to win the World Series. So when it's not obtainable, you have to really bear down. You really can't let the situation affect you as much, because if it does start to creep into your character, it's going to really influence a lot more people than you really think, and it can do it for a really long time. So we get to start a new path. We're not on the old path, and we really get to create a new team identity, and I think that's going to be something that's really fun.
And for the time being, the Phillies hope that Cole Hamels is part of establishing that new identity. Ben, there are his numbers from a season ago: 30 starts, 9-9. Win-loss record's not great, obviously, but the ERA, strikeouts, innings pitched, everything else was outstanding.
He was, and despite a couple early starts in the beginning of the season, he was everything. He was as advertised.
Well, the first pitch to Didi Gregorius is in there for a strike, and I guess nothing's changed as far as Hamels goes with the scouting report.
No, I mean, if anything, that fastball, I think you would see it upwards in the mid-90s. Towards the end of the season, he really gained a lot of velocity. You really don't see that out of starting pitches. You see that velocity tend to dip, but not with Cole.
Well, 25-year-old Didi Gregorius is the batter to lead things off, and he sends the pitch in the air to left field. Dancing back is rough, but he's called off by Herrera. And one away. So the rest of the Yankee lineup brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. It's Headley over third base, then Stephen Drew. Mark Teixeira is at first base batting cleanup. Greg Bird and Gary Sanchez follow him. Ramon Flores is in left field. He'll bat seventh. Batting eighth is Aaron Judge. At batting ninth and playing center is Slade Heathcott. So Hamels gets the first out on 3 pitches. Chase Headley is the hitter. Takes a strike. It's 0-1. Headley last season played 58 games with the Yankees after coming over from the Padres. And this offseason signed a 4-year, $52 million contract. Even with the thoughts of Alex Rodriguez possibly coming back and battling for that third base position. And quickly Hamels is ahead, no balls and 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. Well, not often that you see the changeup this early, Matt, but there it is.
Well, it is, and you can see Chase. He was the guy we were talking about earlier. You can see where Chooch, nice low target, changeup down out of the zone. It's a swing and miss, and that's one of those things you have to protect with his fastball. And like Ben said in the opening, tremendous fastball. He also has a better changeup, and it's hard to hit.
Well, there are the conditions for today's ball game. Yes, ponchos are needed, so are umbrellas. A little bit of rain falling as we begin. But no one's going to complain about 74 degrees here in Clearwater.
I think the rain makes the folks back home feel a little bit better about the situation they've incurred the last couple days.
Stephen Drew hits one foul just to our left. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Yeah, not to be a meteorologist or anything like that, but this moisture was not really anticipated when we arrived at the ballpark today. But it's popped up from the Gulf, and it's found its way over here. Down and away. 2 balls and 1 strike to Stephen Drew.
Greg Murphy told us 20% where he was getting his facts from.
Yeah, but 20% is, I kind of brushed that aside, don't you?
As did I.
That's 1/5,
Well, we understand that, but Murph, if it's 20%, we're going to brush that aside. You didn't anticipate this, did you?
Yeah. I was pretty sure.
20% of you anticipated it.
That's exactly right. Yes. I think it's over, though. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, no. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Stephen Drew. And he whacks that one off his foot. So he'll walk the paint off a little. Stephen Drew looks like he's going to be the starting second baseman for the Yankees this year. Signed a 1-year deal for $5 million this offseason. So the transition of Cano and Jeter for Joe Girardi this year will transition to Stephen Drew and Didi Gregorius. Off the hands, a looper out toward right center field, and that's going to drop in for a base hit. So a 2-out single for Stephen Drew. Not a bad pitch by Hamels. Probably just didn't get it in enough.
Yeah, and it was up in the zone. It's a little bit 84-mile-an-hour off-speed pitch. You know, that's one thing. You see early in spring training when pitchers are not sharp, they're up in the zone. I expect another couple starts to be down the zone, and he'll be fine.
Mark Teixeira, his first at-bat, takes a strike. It's 0-1. Mark Teixeira now 34 years old.
The Yankees are really hoping he can stay off the disabled list.
It's that one to left field, but right at Darren Ruff, and an easy inning for Hamels. Despite the 2-out single by Stephen Drew, he was able to cruise through his first inning of work. Phil's coming up when we return. Last of the first here at Bright House Field. The Phils getting a chance to bat for the first time against the New York Yankees here this afternoon. Let's take a look at their starting lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Odubel Herrera lead it off in center field. Freddie Galvis bats second. Then Grady Sizemore and Ryan Howard. Darren Ruff getting the start in left field. He'll bat fifth. Cody Ashe sixth. In the bottom third of Ruiz catching. And there is a story behind that. Jeff Rancourt in right. Cord Phelps at second base, and they'll take on right-hander Brian Mitchell, who last year on two different levels won 6 games, 6-7 with an ERA of 4.37. He did get a taste of the big leagues a season ago. Matt, it just seems like he's going to be depth for the Yankees this year going into the season.
Well, he is. He's also another power arm out of the bullpen, or whatever they want to do for this year for him, starting bullpen. But, you know, 90-97 mile-an-hour fastball, cutter, change, curve, and he was a 16th round pick in 2009. For this kid to be outstanding, which we've talked to coaches saying if he's down in the zone with his fastball, even though he throws 96 with movement, but he has to be down in the zone.
He's a good-sized kid, and last year we mentioned he made his major league debut. It wound up being in August, but in April he was supposed to be in the Yankee uniform and pitching, and he came up with an arm injury as he prepared for that outing. So he got sent back down, and his first pitch to Herrera is a strike, and it's no balls and 1 strike. Odubel is 3 for 5 so far in spring training. And I think more importantly than being 3 for 5 is that he's already swiped 3 bags.
He's definitely bringing a lot of energy early into spring training.
Whacks that foul. It's 1-2. Well, this is our first time seeing him. Rule 5 selection out of the Rangers organization. And the other day against the Yankees, that ground ball to second base that he had, his speed was startling out of the box. Today playing center field, Ben Revere played yesterday against the Astros. Just 23 years old. I think Ryan Sandberg and the rest of the coaching staff have been impressed with their first first views of Herrera during game time.
Just a lot of moving parts. I was never a big fan of that, but if you can get that, the biggest part for me is getting your foot down. You have all those moving parts, and Tony Gwynn always said that you have to get your foot down. But you got knees and elbows flailing about. But
does that sometimes, when you have all those moving parts, does that put you in slumps a little more often or for extended periods of time compared to other hitters, or does it matter?
It does when you have a leg kick. I think it's very hard, especially with pitchers who have slide steps. It's hard to time that way. But so far, what I've seen is he starts nice and early, and he gets his foot down early.
Outside, 3-2. No appeal, no swing, says Vic Carapazza, the third base umpire.
Yeah, and Ben made a great point. It doesn't matter how much movement you have in your stance. As long as you start early enough, get your front foot down early enough, everything else takes care of itself.
Well, he played in winter ball, so his timing is probably pretty crisp right now. He's worked the count full. And he chops that one back toward the middle. Gregorius very quick, and you see that strong arm. Well, there's one out. That was a fairly fast pirouette that he just made out of shortstop.
Knowing your runner. That's what that is. Obviously, the guys at the top are going to be quick, be able to get down the line, but it's knowing your runner right there. Outstanding play. A lot tougher play than it looked.
Well, Gregorius will have that the opportunity to be the first to take over for Derek Jeter. Here's Freddie Galvis, who is taking over for Jimmy Rollins. First pitch is a strike. It's 0-1. Gregorius has always been a very good fielder. Whether he can hit on the big league level for a consistent amount of time remains to be seen. It's kind of the same thing with Freddie Galvis. Galvis lines one into left center field. That'll be in for a base hit.
It just sounds very different not hearing Jimmy Rollins' name or Derek Jeter when you're referring to as starting shortstop for two powerhouse teams.
Yeah, very similar, these two young players, what they're going through to kind of take over for legends on each respective team. And they're both very gifted with the glove. Grady Sizemore's the batter, 1 for 4 so far this spring.
I think the Phillies would be extremely happy if Freddie Galvis goes up and takes that approach right there and not get too big. That swing right there, that's going to get the job done, especially at the top of the lineup. You're going to see a lot of fastballs. Take that approach, take it all day long.
Now, we've done 2 games here at Bright House. Freddie Galvis has batted second in both of those games, and Ryan Sandberg told us last week that yes he can bat 8th, but for him, because Galvis is a switch hitter, if he does the right things, he'd like him to bat second this year. 2-0 pitch coming to Sizemore. Broke his bat. That might be 2. And even though Gregorius had trouble getting that ball out of his glove, he's still able to throw out Grady Sizemore. I don't think Teixeira's foot was on the base. First base umpire DJ Rayburn said it was. And the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, and nobody left. All right, folks, replay is going to be a big part of baseball again this year. Take a look. I think his foot may have been off the bag the first time I saw it, and the third time. We start the top of the second inning. The first pitch to Greg Bird is taken inside. 1 ball and no strikes. No score between the Phillies and the Mets. Third time these two teams have faced each other this first week of spring. Phillies and the Yankees tied. I think I said Mets. Phillies and the Yankees tied the first day. Did I say Mets?
Yeah, you did.
And then the Phillies defeated the Yankees the next day in Tampa. Yesterday the Phillies lost to the Astros. 2-1 to Greg Bird. That's fouled away. It's 2-2. Yesterday Cliff Lee looked very strong against the Astros and healthy. Velocity was good, and so far so good with Cole Hamels.
The veteran pitchers know what they have to do to get ready for the season. And Cole's been throwing 86, 87, 88 miles an hour. He is not worried about his velocity. He just wants to get in that good rhythm and pound the strike zone.
Fly ball out to short left. Well, since 2010, as Matt said, getting ready for a season, Cole's numbers, innings-wise, have been right where you'd love an ace's numbers to be. And over 200 innings in each of the last 5 years. As we heard before, there's been games where the Phillies haven't gotten them a whole lot of runs, but Ben, as you said during the open, kind of just said at one point, you know what, I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to pitch.
I really think in years past it bothered him because, yes, you wake up the next morning, you want to see that W next to your name. You got the win. But I think he said, you know what, all I can do is worry about Cole Hamels and how I go out there and perform every 5th day.
Gary Sanchez takes a strike on the outside corner.
Veteran pitchers, every time I watch Cole Hamels, you always hear about repeating your delivery. I'm telling you, I don't know if anyone does it better than Cole Hamels.
Because it's not a normal delivery. The way he puts his hands over his head, the leg kick, all that stuff. But he does have that rhythm down. He went. He did not go. 3 balls and 1 strike. '21-year-old Gary Sanchez at the plate. Sanchez last year .270 with 13 home runs, 65 RBIs. We had a number 80 play the other day for the Yankees. It wasn't Gary Sanchez, though. It was Mason Williams. Check swing and a changeup. He went around, says the home plate umpire. And there are 2 outs. Second strikeout for Hamels. Well, Ben talked about 3 earned runs or fewer in the final 23 games last year. The ERA, magnificent, but the win-loss record is kind of what you were talking about, Ben, that he kind of just brushed that aside.
A 191.
That's 6 losses.
And they go 8-6. It's not a whole lot of run support.
No. I would think that's hard, though, for a pitcher to get past that. It has to be difficult.
Well, he definitely put his ball club in a position to win. And that's what you ask out of your starter, especially out of your ace.
No balls, 2 strikes to Ramon Flores, playing left field today. 63 games last year at AAA. At .254 with 9 homers and 26 runs batted in. Nefi Ogando warming up in the bullpen, the hard-throwing right-hander. Softly to second base. Cord Phelps his first opportunity. And another 1-2, or an easy 1-2-3 inning for Cole Hamels. Well, the 14 pitch first. He followed it up with a comfortable top of the second. opening night is Wednesday, April 8th at Citizens Bank Park. All fans 15 and older will receive the opening night T-shirt. You can add that to your collection of T-shirts that McDonald's has given out in recent years. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com. Phillies will open up the season with interleague play against the Boston Red Sox. Now we go to the bottom of the second inning, scoreless game. The rain has lightened up. Phil Cuzzy was just talking to Opie Cheek, who is the head groundskeeper, and now has gone over to talk to Joe Girardi about the weather update. There is another stream of showers that is coming in about an hour or so away. Clock winds down. First pitch is supposed to be delivered at this point. Ryan Howard will lead it off. And a strike to Howard. Howard 2 for 5 so far, had an RBI in game 1 against the Yankees. 0-2. Howard did not play yesterday in Kissimmee. He spent the day here at Bright House Field taking batting practice.
I watched the first couple rounds yesterday. First couple rounds he hit with a donut on the bat.
Always has.
We see some folks do. I would play with Edgar Martinez. He used to do that. But it's amazing how the ball still jumps off the bat.
Breaking ball, and it's in there for a strike. So Howard is down looking. Well, that'll bring Darren Rupp to the plate, and Darren and the rest of the outfielders are, Murph, a storyline coming into spring training, because quite honestly, the Phillies don't have a left fielder as we begin play.
Yeah, that's pretty much the way it is right now, Tom. And I think it's one of the most intriguing storylines of the spring is how that outfield is going to shake out, and also, where they find their depth on the bench, because a lot of these guys, including the guy at the plate, Darren Rupp, is in the mix to be a part of that outfield depth. And there are a lot of names. They've did a lot of work in the offseason trying to fill that out, and we're seeing 4 of those guys today. Herrera in center field. You have Jeff Francoeur out there in right field. Of course, Darren in left and Grady Sizemore, your DH today. Take a look at this graphic and show just what kind of depth they have right now. And you have to assume, with Ben Revere as your center fielder and then Don Brown as your right fielder, and that's what it appears right now. Those 2 guys locked for positions. Left field wide open with all kinds of names. There you see them. Danks, we mentioned as well. Aaron Altair, probably an outside shot to make the team. But you have to think that one of those guys is going to be your starting left fielder, and then 2 more of those guys also will be depth off the bench. So it's a open competition. Ryan Sandberg has talked about it very openly. These guys are battling for jobs, and, it begins right now in the first week of spring training.
Well, Darren Ruff now 1 for 7 in the early going as Cody Ashley takes a strike. It's 0-1. It's only been a few games. I think we've all been really impressed with Herrera. He's really stood out, right, in the first few games of this spring training schedule.
No, I would agree. And I think the biggest thing for these guys is that playing solid defense. How's Darren going to do in left field? How's Herrera going to do in left field, center field? Everyone knows these guys can hit. But as long as they go out there and get their work done, it's going to be an interesting decision they have to make for the starting left fielder.
And they could platoon, right, guys? That's what they told us the other day. They could have a platoon if it works out of, Ruff against lefties or Francoeur against lefties, and then Sizemore against right-handers.
Yeah, but I think these guys, they don't want a platoon.
No.
Nobody wants a platoon. You want to be in there every day.
2-2 to Cody Ashley.
I tell you, I'm very impressed with Brian Mitchell's stuff. And you look out there, there's not a whole lot of energy being spent. But this ball is getting on these hitters.
Broke his bat. The head of the bat goes into the Yankee dugout. Chase Headley will take care of Ashe. And a 1-2-3 inning for Brian Mitchell. 2 strikeouts and a ground out. Phils go down quietly, and we'll head to the 3rd. done for the day as he heads back toward the clubhouse. 2 innings. He allowed 1 hit. That was a base hit to Stephen Drew. All right, guys, what'd you think in this first couple of innings of work?
Strike one. He attacked the hitters. He was down the zone with all of his pitches. Yeah, the changeup, the curveball, the slider who was working, the cutter. I like that. I mean, his velocity wasn't where you want to be, but a typical veteran pound the strike zone.
I saw some great sinkers. I know the velocity wasn't up there where we normally see it, but it was a very good sinker. You know, some people call, well, it's a batting, BP fastball. I saw some late life, and that's why he got all those ground balls.
Now, the changeup has always been his best pitch. I thought his changeup was very good today, too, the handful that he threw.
Yeah, well, his changeup, when you're throwing your fastball down in the zone, and you back it up with the changeup down in the zone, Chase Elliott swings that changeup twice, strikes out. That's what you're going to get. You're going to get a lot of swing and misses when you're down in the zone with 2 tremendous pitches.
31 pitches, 22 strikes for Hamels. Here's Nefi Ogando, who will take over for the Phillies as the bottom of the order is coming up for the Yankees. Ogando is 5-1 last year with an ERA of 6.27, 48 appearances. He finished 27 games for Reading. Phillies picked him up from the Boston Red Sox. So he'll face Aaron Judge. I think we saw enough of Aaron Judge the other day. What do you guys think?
I agree.
It was windblown.
First pitch to Judge, who hit that grand slam the other day that tied the game at 5. Or I should say 3-run home run that tied the game at 5. 1 ball, no strikes to Judge. Combined to hit 17 home runs last year. He will probably start in Trenton this year in Double-A in the Eastern League. In there for strike 2-1. There's Mario Hollins, who gave up the 3-run home run, gave up 4 runs in the 9th inning. First time these two teams faced each other. That's high, ball 4. Well, here is that wind-blown home run, as Ben said. I think both you guys said on the air that didn't look like initially that he even got it. Just toward the end of the bat.
That's why Ben says it's a wind-blowing home run. But here's the question. Have you ever hit a cheap home run?
No.
Well, thank you.
Pretty quick to answer that, too.
Yes, you were.
Slade Heathcott is now the batter. Takes a strike or ball inside. 1 ball, no strikes.
Ben, were you a natural lefty or right-handed hitter?
Right-handed.
Right-handed?
Right-handed.
When did you start switch hitting?
Little League.
Oh, you did?
Little League. But I felt if I needed to put some power up, I would hit right-handed.
Did that carry through professionally, too?
No,
okay.
no. I always went opposite side.
So in Little League or Babe Ruth or in high school, when they saw you coming up right-handed against a right-hander, they had to say, uh-oh?
Not so much. I mean, pretty much after Little League, if O'Reilly was on the mound, I'd hit left-handed. Everything rides on Little League baseball. It's all about winning.
I would think so in some parts. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Chopper foul. Fortunately, back home, a lot of high schools in New Jersey were scheduled to begin practicing today outside. That's not going to happen. Pennsylvania, probably a few days ago. That's not going to happen. Back toward the middle. That'll be a base hit for Heathcott. Judge will stop at second. So runners on first and second. There's Julie Marquez, was on the scoreboard earlier giving the weather update. She's a local meteorologist. 23 degrees in New York. Close to the same in Philadelphia, and in the 70s here in Clearwater. They'll bring Didi Gregorius to the plate for the second time. He flied to center his first time up. Gregorius was originally signed as a free agent by the Cincinnati Reds out of the Netherlands back in 2007.
Hey, who's thirsty here? Miller Lite Bud Light.
Fastball, and it's a strike, 0-1. Saw Carlos Ruiz go out and chat with Ogando. Carlos said before the ball game today that he's going to catch probably once a week for the first couple weeks of spring training before he starts to catch in back-to-back games.
I know we talk about the tempo of the game, but it's funny how almost all the hitters are still stepping out of that batter's box.
1 ball, 1 strike. And high again, 2-1.
Ogando really trying to overthrow the baseball. I know you want to make an impact and show Bob McClure, Ryan Sandberg what you have. But there's a fine line there between overthrowing and you need to still make your pitches work down and command the strike zone.
Yeah, because he's fallen behind really these first 3 hitters in this inning.
This would most likely be a situation where you might see the leadoff batter laying down a bunt. This early in spring training, let's see him swing it. But I think as spring training moves forward, this might be because, you know, the Yankees lineup, they're going to have to move some runners over as well. You're lacking a little bit of thump in that lineup.
Yeah, particularly because there's a lot of guys that are coming back trying to get healthy.
Correct.
Teixeira, Beltran, people like that. Once hit foul down the left field line, it remains 2-2.
Welcome to the American League Baseball.
What, all these foul balls? Or?
No, where you rely on power.
Yep.
And there's usually no bunting going on.
But there are teams like the Angels and the Royals, let's say, who some people say play National League style baseball in the American League.
Then you have a Mike Scioscia manager who was with National League with the Dodgers for all those years. That's the baseball they played.
And Ned Yost was with the Braves, then with the Brewers, before sliding in with the Kansas City Royals. You guys both played in the American League and the National League. Was there a preference? Did you care? Matt wanted to hit the 3-run home run.
You know, honestly, I've always been an American League fan. Now being with the National League probably the last 4 or 5 years. I enjoy watching National League baseball. I enjoy the hit and run, the stealing bases, the squeeze. But yeah, I like the home runs.
A couple of schools of thought. Do you really want to give the opposing team an out? Why would you want to give yourself up and give? And that goes into the analytics that we see more prevalent in the game today. But I don't mind giving that out up. If I get runners in second and third with 1 out, I'll take my chances there.
And I think early in the game, too, people talk about how the National League, you'll do it more. Late in the game, the American League, you might do more of the National League style, where if you need a run. There's Chase Headley, who batted right-handed the first time up, now batting left-handed. He struck out against Cole Hamels.
So now look at the situation. There's first and second. Now ground ball gets you out of the inning. Whereas if it's second and third, a ground ball gets you a run.
Right, you have an RBI guy in the 2-hole here in Headley, who had 115 RBIs a few years ago with the Padres.
Would you rather be up 1-0 or 0-0? I mean,
I think that's a trick question. Is that a trick question?
Not so much.
0-2. strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts. Perfect location.
Backdoor cutter.
Headley was looking for something else, or he thought it was.
I don't think he was looking for the backdoor cutter.
At 92 on the black. You're never looking for that one.
Oh, here's Stephen Drew. He singled his first time up, a little bloop out to right center field as Ryan Sandberg is positioning Ryan Howard. Up high, 1-0. Stephen Drew played 34 games at second base last year, but this will be the first time that he's becoming a full-time second baseman. Always has been a shortstop, played a little third. He hit just 162 last year. Yankees and Red Sox.
And what's his salary this year?
$5 million.
Very warranted.
You guys get out of the game too early.
Not by choice.
Well, see his numbers at second base. He made an error yesterday. He said he's still getting used to the angles at second base. First two batters reached, a walk and a single. And Ogando has been able to get the last two hitters on strikes. And now he's behind 2-1 to Stephen Drew. Off the hands, out towards second. Phelps is there. Ogando had a little trouble with his command with the first two hitters, but was able to bounce back and get the next three. Yankees lead 2 as we go to the bottom of the third. Baseball is brought to you by Jefferson, where health is all we do. Call 1-800-JEF now or visit jefferson.edu. Well, back here in Clearwater, first time this year that we're seeing the tarp be put on the field. Phil Cuzzy had been up to date with Opie Cheap, the head groundskeeper here at Bright House Field, about the weather, and they came out and chatted for a few moments, and they've decided that this strand of showers that is coming off the Gulf is going to be here for a little bit. It's going to have a little intensity to it, so they've decided to put the tarp on the field here in the bottom of the third inning in a scoreless ball game. So the Phillies bullpen will head back into the clubhouse. Players are still hanging in the dugout for the most part. So we're going to be in a rain delay at least for the next little bit here at Bright House Field. And hopefully we'll be able to resume play. This field, like a lot of fields around the state of Florida, drains exceptionally well, and they have gotten the tarp on quickly. So the fans are heading for some cover, and players are doing the same. And it means for at least the time being, we'll have to sit. The Yankees had just warmed up a new pitcher. Whether he comes back or not, we'll have to wait and see. The Phillies were warming up Andy Oliver, and he was about to come in the top of the 4th inning. But he had just started to throw. So he may not be able to come back, or depending on how much he threw out in the bullpen, will dictate whether, if we resume, whether he'll be able to get out here and pitch for the Phils. So a rain delay here at Bright House Field. We'll try to keep you up to date with the process and the progress. But for the time being, while we sit here and watch the rain fall, we'll give you an opportunity to sit and watch Call to the Hall, a feature on Pat Gillick. So we'll be back in a little bit. play between the Yankees and the Phillies. Jaron Long, the relief pitcher for the Yankees, out on the mound, loosening up and getting himself ready to go. He had been in the bullpen for the last 15 minutes or so, and he's about ready to face Carlos Ruiz, Jeff Francoeur, and Cord Phelps. Numbers last year for Jaron Long: 28 games, 12-5, an ERA of 2.18. He started 18 games in the Yankees farm system. Also was a relief pitcher, and he's kind of an interesting story. His dad, Kevin Long, was the hitting coach for the Yankees and now is the hitting coach of the New York Mets, but he pitched at Ohio State but wasn't drafted. The Yankees selected him, or the Yankees signed him as a free agent in 2013 after his earned run average in the Cape Cod League was .30. And you sit there and wonder, how the heck was this kid not drafted? Well, he'll face Carlos Ruiz to start things off. And Carlos takes a strike. It's 0-1. Carlos last year, 6 home runs, 31 runs batted in, 0 for 3 so far on the spring, and it's 0-2. Game is resumed. The ball girls have not arrived down the left or right field line, although there's a lake down the left or right field line. So Woody, the security guard, is going to take care of the foul balls for the time being. In the dirt, 1-2.
Amazing how much he looks like his father. I had his dad as AAA hitting coach with the Columbus Clippers back in 2006, and he was a little tight, but nice to see him where he's at.
We're all getting older, but that's,
I tell you,
got to make you feel older.
You can see he's not exactly lighting up the radar gun. That's probably why he went undrafted.
He had good movement on that pitch, and Ruiz is struck out. Third strikeout for Yankees pitching. Tonight at 5, get all the latest on the Eagles in the final few days before free agency. Plus, former Villanova head coach Steve Lapis breaks down the Wildcats' final 4 chances. Watch Philly Sports Talk, presented by Comcast Business on Comcast Sportsnet. Ben Davis will also make an appearance on Philly Sports Talk.
Talk with Michael B. back in Philly.
It'd be great if Lap was on while you were on. Francoeur hits it foul. It's 0-2.
Right in the lake.
Right smack dab in the middle of the lake. Here comes Woody.
Ball came to a screeching halt.
Woody's got a pitchfork. You hear this saying a lot when we're down here, only in spring training. Francoeur takes inside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Jeff, last year 115 games in the minor leagues. It's off the plate. There are 2 outs. And Cord Phelps will be up for the first time today. Every time there's a second baseman that is in the lineup instead of Chase Utley, it gives us a chance to update everybody on Chase. You see Mike Nesset is in the bullpen warming up. Chase took batting practice again today. He's out running the bases.
Chase is fine. He's pacing himself for spring training.
There he is watching.
See the last couple days in spring training during batting practice making a concerted effort to stay up the middle and more towards the left side of the field. Line drive after line drive, it looks great. Sometimes Chase does get a little pull happy, but the last couple days it's been real nice to see.
Well, the fact that he's been taking BP is a good indication, as Matt said, that his ankle's fine. It's just it's still swollen, but the ankle is fine. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Cord Phelps. Outside, 2-2. One of the minor league free agents that the Phillies signed this past offseason. Phelps has played 56 games during his big league career. He's hit under 200 during that time. That'll be out of play, and it remains 3-2.
Watch Jaron Long on top of the mound, top of the rubber out there. You don't see many right-handers throw from the extreme left side of the rubber. And he's way over there.
What does that usually tell you as a hitter? Is there anything that stands out?
Well, maybe he just has trouble getting the ball down and away to righties.
That ball's hit well out toward left. Playable, though, for Flores. And that'll do it for the Phillies here in the third. 3 in the books and a rain delay here in Clearwater. Still scoreless. Once again, the Phillies are going to honor the extraordinary scholars in the area. 2014, 2015 sophomores and juniors with a minimum GPA of 3.0. You can write an essay sharing how you are contributing to the common good through service. 2 winners will be selected each month of the season and honored on the field as our extraordinary scholar. Nominations are accepted on a rolling basis through August 3rd of this year. Go to Phillies.com/scholar for more information. Along with Ben Davis, Matt Stairs, and Greg Murphy, I'm Tom McCarthy. We go to the top of the 4th inning. Nefi Ogando pitched a scoreless third a little while ago for the Phillies, and now Mike Neseth, who last year was 2-7 in the minor leagues and earned a run average of 5.60, will come on. Neseth pitched 4 games at Lehigh Valley. And he'll take over for Ogando. Cole Hamels started today, went 2 innings, allowed a hit, no runs, 2 strikeouts. And Neseth will face Mark Teixeira. And Murph, what did Cole Hamels say about his outings today?
You know, Tom, he talked to reporters right after he was done. Obviously pleased with his outing today, working on all of his pitches, as you guys talked about. And he said, you know, for him, getting ready for the season, it's exactly what he wanted to accomplish today. Throwing to live batters is what it's all about for a guy like Cole Hamels at this time in spring training. He said it adds a little bit of adrenaline and a little bit of focus, and that's really what they need. You know, throwing BP is a great thing, but when you're getting in a game where, you know, a team's actually trying to get some hits and score some runs off you, it really narrows down the focus. So that's what he wanted to feel today. He felt that in his first 2 innings. All went well. He got out of there healthy. That's the most important thing, guys.
Murph, did he talk about the pitches that he threw, the type of pitches that he threw today?
Yeah, he talked, you know, as you guys mentioned, I mean, he really seemed to work on all of his pitches today. You threw a couple change-ups to get a couple outs as well. So he was real pleased with everything. You know, he said, like most pitchers in spring training, your first outing, you're fighting, you know, a little bit of that adrenaline because, you know, you're pumped up and first time in game action in quite some time. But all in all, that's what he wanted to feel, and he wanted to be able to get that focus back, and he felt like he had that. So, you know, in just watching a guy, that's exactly the way Cliff Lee was yesterday, and you see that out of Cole today, and that's what you hope out of your aces.
All right, Murph, we appreciate that. Mark Teixeira just singled up the middle for the Yankees, and he is replaced over at first base. Kyle Roller takes over for him. And the batter is Greg Bird. Bird fly to left his first time up. one's hit well out to right center field. Francoeur on the run. He's not going to get it. He'll take a hop off the top of the fence. Roller is rolling around third. Galvis's throw to the plate is up the line. Now the Yankees take a 1-0 lead. And over at third base now is Greg Bird. Boy, he hit that ball well.
Yeah, he did. It was a pitch up in the zone. You know, like a change up in the zone down the middle of the plate, and does a nice job driving it to right field. Might have a little bit of fan interference right there, but the thing is Freddie tried to throw out of home plate, and the lack of communication of allowing Freddie where to throw the ball, and should have gone to third base to get the out.
Yeah, because he would have gotten Bird, and it really didn't seem like he had a chance to get Roller at the plate. Here's Gary Sanchez. He takes high. Sanchez struck out his first time up.
And Bird was taking liberties moving to third just for the fact that if he does throw me out of third, you know, so be it. You don't want to make the first out at third, but he was pretty much banking on the plate, going to home plate, and did.
Off the outside corner, it's 2-0. Neseth is a 17th round selection by the Phils in 2010 out of the University of Nebraska. He's a big kid, 6'5", 220 pounds. On the outside corner, 2-1. Down the right field line, Jeff Francoeur watches that one slice out of play, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. On that particular play, when Freddie Galvis had turned and fired to the plate, you guys are right. It's surprising that he didn't see Bird, who made the decision pretty quickly. He didn't see Bird so close to the second base bag.
Well, in that situation as well, you have Bird rounding second base. Should he, he should know if Roller's going to score easily enough. And by watching the play, you don't look at the coach because the coach is going to be waving the runner coming around third base. But you got to realize who's on base in front of you. You just don't run into a out to try to score a run. In that situation, you have to realize where they're lined up and where the throw's going to be made.
Well, there's the first out. Sanchez down swinging. One away here in the 4th inning.
You can also tell how high the cutoff throw is. Is it going to be really high? Is it going to sail over Ryan Howard's head like it just did? And if it's down lower at his chest, you got to be a little more hesitant.
There's the potential fan interference Matt talked about.
Well, Francoeur did a great job getting the ball into Freddie Galvis right there. But as a second baseman going out to follow the play, that's where you try to turn around and watch the play, and you're basically Freddie's eyes. You're yelling if you're going to go home, 3-3, whatever it is. That's where the communication has to step up and really help out your infielders where to throw the ball to the base.
And you could see Freddie, I mean, as soon as he got it, it was in his mind he was going home with that baseball. He got it and chucked it.
Ramon Flores 0 for 1. He grounded out his first time up. Left side of the infield's in a little bit. Right side, particularly the second baseman, is back. And it's low, 2 balls and 1 strike.
Quite a different defensive alignment here. Obviously, you don't want to give up a cheapie on the left side, but pretty much conceding it if it is hit the second base.
Off the end of the bat, that'll hook into right field, a base hit. A run scores. Bird crosses the plate easily from third. It's an RBI single, and Francoeur throws behind Flores, and he has to scamper back to the bag, and the Yankees are up 2-0. Well, he still likes to show that arm off. He still has a strong one out in right field.
And accurate, too, by the way.
If Flores had slipped at all on that wet infield dirt, he would have been a dead duck over at first. Aaron Judge walked his first time up. He takes on the inside corner. It's 0-1. I think he's going to get a chance to take a long look at Judge over the next couple weeks before they start making cuts and sending guys down in the minor leagues. You talked the other day about how similar he looks to Giancarlo Stanton.
Eerily similar.
Nate Eovaldi, who pitches for the Yankees, was Stanton's teammate down in Miami, said that Judge is probably a little broader, because they've talked about the similarities in the stance and the size. I don't know, Giancarlo Stanton's a pretty broad dude. Out towards second, that might be two. Phelps the second for one, and the throw pulls Freddie Galvis off the bag. They do say the out was converted at second for 6. So fielder's choice. And with 2 away, Slade Heathcott will be the batter. Heathcott singled his first time up.
Judge might stand similar to Stanton, but the sound of the ball coming off the bat, night and day.
That's a good point, because it does sound really different when Stanton hits it. Now, who knows if eventually it'll be the same. But Judge is 22, Stanton's around that same age. 1 ball, 1 strike to Heathcott. Outside, 2-1. Bullpen action for the Yankees. That's Nick Goody, who we saw the other day. Little difference in command for Neseth compared to some of the other veteran pitchers that we've seen.
Starting to miss it a bit again.
Yeah. You see the drops falling. During the regular season, that rain or that water that's built up along the warning tracks, they would try to get rid of that before they resume play. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Runner will be off. Howard plays behind him at first. Outside, ball 4, and that'll put runners on first and second. And D.D. Gregorius will come up for the Yanks for the 3rd time. Ryan Sandberg today is hoping to see Kenny Giles, Jake Diekman, or to see Nefi Ogando. Andy Oliver had been loosening up earlier before the rains came. One of the minor league pitchers, Stephen Shackelford, is also in uniform. There's Jake Diekman. Sweeps in for a strike, 0-1.
Veteran catcher right there. Getting him back in that arm slot with a breaking ball, first pitch breaking ball. Was missing really up and away, really pulling off the ball as a pitcher. And Chooch gets him back in that arm slot with a breaking ball. Nice to see 0-1.
Throws another one. It's 0-2. What is it the breaking ball does to get a pitcher back into the right slot?
It makes you keep your front shoulder closed and really get out in front with the baseball. Because if you do pull it off, it's going to be one of those spinners, a cement mixer down the middle. They go a long way. So getting that breaking ball gets you out in front, gets you down, and make you pull your arm through the zone.
Let's see what Carlos decides to go with here, as Neseth is ahead. No balls and 2 strikes to Gregorius. Tried to check his swing. And they appeal no swing, says the second base umpire, DJ Rayburn. Definitely helped. He used every bit of his body to hold that. That one's pulled past Ryan Howard down the right field line. 1 run will score. Francoeur bare hands and fires into the cutoff man. It'll be an RBI double for Gregorius, his first hit of the spring, and the Yankees are on top 3-0.
It's supposed to be a fastball inside. Sinker came back towards the middle of the plate. Does a nice job of hitting the ball down the right field line and keeping it fair, which is very hard to do for a left-hander, especially with the fastball inside. But nice play by Frenchie off the wall down there and barehanded and getting in quick.
Yeah, because the runner over at third, Heathcott, he was thinking about coming home. That'll bring Chase Headley to the plate. He's 0 for 2. He has struck out twice. Headley whacks the first pitch foul. Chase Headley back in 2012 had 31 home runs, 115 RBIs. For a Padres team, it didn't score a whole lot of runs.
And for a ballpark that's tough to hit home runs in.
Very tough. He hasn't been able to duplicate those numbers. Takes it low, 1 ball, 1 strike. He had other options this year. He was somewhat of a coveted third baseman, but he liked the way things went last year, even though the Yankees struggled and didn't make the postseason. He liked his experience in New York, and it didn't hurt that they offered him a 4-year, $52 million contract. He's been saying all the right things about Alex Rodriguez being back in camp. In fact, he said yesterday in a radio interview that he said, I think having a couple of good bodies is never a bad thing in camp. Alex has been great to deal with, and I'm glad to have him on the team. Because he's been taking ground balls, obviously, at third base. It's become Rodriguez's natural position since moving from shortstop. Swing and a miss, 2-2.
Brian Cashman said this is Chase Headley's job.
Right.
It's not, you know, Alex isn't in camp battling for the third base job. It's his to play every day.
Yeah, Rodriguez has to really open up eyes as the camp goes on. It seems anyway. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball, 3-2.
Bottom line is he's owed a lot of money, and if the Yankees could get anything out of Alex, obviously that would be a bonus. I just want to sit there and write a check to him. I mean, that's obviously they're hoping they don't have to do that.
That's low, ball 4. So the Yankees send their 9th man of the inning to the plate, Stephen Drew. And Bob McClure heading out to the mound. They do have bullpen action behind Neseth. Seth Rosine, another kid from the minor league camp who got some big league action last year with the Texas Rangers. He is warming up. Tonight at 6, Marshall Harris, John Gonzalez, and NBC Sports Network's John Ritchie discuss the latest with free agency and the Eagles' moves and offseason news around the NFL. Watch Quick Slants presented by Nissan only on Comcast Sportsnet. Substitution for the Yankees. as Chase Headley's afternoon is complete. Here is Stephen Drew with Gregorius on second base. And Drew fouls the first pitch back, and Heathcott over at third. Drew singled his first time up, grounded out his last time. And quickly it is no balls and 2 strikes.
36th pitch.
Yeah,
it's a lot of pitches.
Considering that the starters were supposed to be 30 to 35.
Yeah.
And I think Neseth is kind of in that same realm.
I would have to imagine this is his last hitter.
Inside, 1-2.
You don't see pitchers come out of the bullpen in relief and throw over 30 pitches usually.
Right.
It's usually 20, 25 pitches.
You remember last year we were in Miami when Luis Garcia threw a boatload of pitch. I mean, he was really struggling. Swing and a miss. He got him after going after a high pitch out of the zone, and Drew is struck out. But the Yankees scored 3 runs in the inning. They collect 4 hits. They take a 3-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the 4th. Al Roller stays in the ball game to play first base for the Yankees. He scored a run in the last half inning, and Eric Jeheilo is the new third baseman. I don't think I pronounced that right, even the 2 times I said it. Jeheilo.
Just call him Jag.
Jeheilo. And the new pitcher is Nick Goody, the right-hander. Goody, 27 games, a 2-3 record, a 4.60 ERA. All right, let's get this right. I want to make sure we have this right. It's not Jeheilo. I just asked Ricky Ricardo. I said, "Hey, do you know how to pronounce who does the Yankee Spanish radio?" And he does some stuff on WIP in Philadelphia. I said, "Do you know how to pronounce the kid's name that just came in?" He said, "Yeah, it's Jeheilo, but it's, as we've just looked at the pronunciation guide, it is Jegailo."
Jegailo.
We'll get it right.
That was way off.
That's why we go with nicknames as Jag.
Jegailo. Eric Jegailo is playing third base. We apologize to the Jegailo family. There he is. Get a chance to play a little third base for the Yankees. All right, so the Phillies have batted through the order once. They have 1 hit so far. Odubel Herrera grounded out to shortstop his first time up. He had the ball back toward the middle. And he's up now for the second time. So he is 3 for 6 so far this spring. First pitch is over for a strike. And no balls and 1 strike. First day we saw him was the University of Tampa game. He went after pitches pretty quickly. Since that time, he's been a pretty patient hitter. Wouldn't you guys agree?
A lot. I mean, that's the key. You're hitting up the top of the zone. You know, it's leadoff spot, number 2 spot, whatever it's going to be. Your job is to hit baseballs like that. Get on base, see pitches, so the guys behind you know what he's featuring.
Well, this is against the Yankees on Wednesday. And this is where it really jumped out how quick he was on the base pass as he reaches on that one and then winds up stealing a bag. So he pulls through the right side. And off he goes. Even though that ball got away from Brian McCann, he really stole that on Andrew Miller.
They're the baseball instincts you want to see, especially out of the guys at the top of the lineup. So we talked about Freddie Galvis. He's a baseball player. He has those instincts within him. You know, it's just something that you can't really teach, whether they have it or they don't.
Yeah, a lot of prospects have come up for the Phils in recent years, but Freddie probably has the best instincts of those guys. He slaps that one the other way. No balls and 2 strikes. He has the other base hit for the Phillies. That came his first time up. There's Maikel Franco. He's a pretty instinctive kid, too.
Watching Freddie take BP yesterday using a U1, the bat that he's holding right now. You don't see a whole lot of folks using those these days.
All right, so what stands out about a U1?
The knob of the bat, if you can get a close-up of the knob of that bat there, it's really flared out, and it's not a comfortable bat. You know, if he swings it like he did that first time up, he can use whatever he wants, but it's just not a bat. You usually see these guys today, they're dropping a pinky on the knob because the game has changed a little bit, but it's working for him thus far. See the knob of that bat. It's really nothing to pull down and through the zone with.
I would throw that bat so far over the dugout.
In the air to center field. Heathcott started back. Now he comes trotting in. And there is 1 out here in the 4th. Our first Hatfield Dollar Dog Night will be Thursday, April 9th, when the Phillies take on the Boston Red Sox at 7:05. Tickets can be purchased, and you can check out all of the Hatfield Dollar Dog Nights in 2015 by going to Phillies.com. Here's Grady Sizemore. Sizemore was hit in the knee the other day in Tampa. I think anytime he gets hit in the knee or in that area, you cringe a little bit because of all the problems he's had with the knees over the years. Last time up, he hit into a double play, hit one right back to the pitcher's mound. That one's off the hands. Gregorius is under it at shortstop, and there are 2 outs. Here's Ryan Howard, Herrera at first. He led off the inning with a single. You mentioned his last at bat, and we've seen this over the years, that Howard takes batting practice with a donut. And you said Edgar Martinez used to do that. I didn't realize that Martinez used to do it. I thought he was the only one, Ryan, that I'd ever seen doing it.
Yeah, Edgar did it, and 2 batting titles later, it's I think arguably the best designated hitter of all time.
Ground ball foul. And it's 0-1. As hitters, give me a reason why guys do that. What's the issue there? I'll ask both of you guys that.
It makes you use your hands. You know, as opposed to using your big muscles in your arms, it makes you use your hand. Because if you start pulling that bat with your big muscles in your arms, your bat's going to be a lot slower.
What happens if we don't have big muscles?
Well, you don't use a donut on your bat then.
I think it's honestly it's to keep the bat to the zone longer, stay inside the ball, work the ball up the middle to left field, and use that big muscle once in a while. And
does it ever cause mechanically problems though, if you use it, or I guess you're just using it for one round? Right?
I wouldn't think so. And Ryan might use it just to get loose.
1 ball, 1 strike, and a foul tip. It's 1-2.
He wanted to leave the batter's box again, and he put that foot back in.
Yeah, just so everybody knows the rules. If he fouled it off, then he could step out of the box. If he didn't foul it off, then he's got to keep at least 1 foot in the box. Out toward left field. Flores will settle under this one. So Goody allows the leadoff single, but then nothing else. Phillies have 2 hits so far through the first 4 innings of play. We'll head to the 5th here at Bright House Field. They're on top 3-0. We've got a new feature for everybody this year, and it's a new feature for Greg Murphy. It's called Murph on the Move.
Well, guys, I'm not exactly dressed for it, but I couldn't be out and about and not end up here on Clearwater Beach, about 2.5 miles of pristine white sand. It's really one of the big reasons everybody comes down here. Always considered one of America's top beaches is Clearwater Beach. Plenty to do. You can take a jet ski out in the water here in the Gulf, or like me, you could sit underneath one of these many umbrellas and hide from the sun. But no matter what you do, you're going to have a good time out here on Clearwater Beach. And don't forget that later in the day, we're here in the afternoon, but later tonight, maybe around 6:30, this beach will be packed. Why? Well, some of the prettiest sunsets you're ever going to see are going to happen right over the horizon out here. It is a can't-miss event when you come to Clearwater.
Well, it is so true. It's kind of overwhelming the first time that you are down by Clearwater Beach when you get towards sunset and just see how beautiful it is. And there's always a lot of people that are floating around, and we're getting close to spring break time for a lot of the colleges, so it's going to be and there's a lot of Phillies fans already here, but there's going to be so many college kids that'll be down on the beach in the next couple weeks. Get a chance to see Murph from time to time. Murph, did you enjoy your day at the beach when you were rolling out there?
I always enjoy my day at the beach. I don't normally dress quite like that when I'm on the beach, but you know, we hit a couple of different spots. In fact, we hit, I think, close to 10 different spots in and around Clearwater Beach that we're going to show the folks as these broadcasts go on throughout the month of March. There are so many different places to go when you're down here at Clearwater Beach. So, you know, the fun's going to keep on coming. We're going to show you a lot of those spots, including a place to get an adult beverage, and I think we hit the aquarium as well. I know a lot of those places, so we're going to point a couple of those out, and it's a really good feature. It should be a lot of fun as we go throughout the month.
You know a lot of aquariums, or you know a lot of places to get an adult beverage?
I know one aquarium, and I know a lot of the others. So we'll keep you covered.
Was that Pier 60 behind you?
That was not. No, we were further down. Yeah, we were down on the. I guess it's on the north side of the surface, so not Pier 60.
All right, Kyle Roller will lead things off for the Yankees against Jake Diekman. Our first chance to see Jake this spring. Changes for the Phillies. Chris McGinnis takes over at first base as we start the top of the 5th inning. Chopper over to short. Nice hop for Freddie Galvis. And 1 out here in the 5th. We talked with Bob McClure last week about Jake Diekman, and he loved, like all of us do, he loves the stuff. It was interesting. He said, I still think he needs to throw more strikes. Even as good a season as he had last year, he needs to throw strike one a little more often. And he said that Jake is open to the discussions they've had about that.
Well, and especially when you throw mid-90s, upper 90s during the season, how important it is to go out there and establish first strike and then go after them with either your slider or you can start moving your fastball around.
There's the slider, a little high, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
The last thing you want to do as a hitter is get in a hole against a strikeout pitcher like this that can put you away with 2 different pitches. He can blow a fastball by you, and he can bury you with a slider. So when he can get ahead, obviously it's going to help him a lot more.
Well, I think you just saw that note about the 100 strikeouts for a reliever. The first time somebody did that since Al Holland, and you see 100 strikeouts and 71 innings of work. Bob McClure said, would you imagine if he didn't fall behind so many guys, how many strikeouts he would have? As that one is flared to left, Aaron Ruff is there to make the catch.
Now, I never had to go lefty on lefty, Matt, but you get an uncomfortable at bat like this against a hard-throwing lefty. What do you really try and key on?
Being pinch hit for? For Diekman, it's you have to pick either the fastball or the slider. And until you get 2 strikes, then you start to battle, and hopefully he hangs a slider. But yeah, really, he's got the different delivery. For me, you can't hit the fastball right, you can't hit the fastball in, so you got to pick one side or the other.
Okay.
And that's what I'm going to approach at. And for him, I'm going to hopefully look away, and hopefully he leaves something out over the plate, and I can flare it to left or hit it on the ground and beat it out.
Well, he works a pretty easy 5th inning. And as we go to the bottom of the 5th here in Clearwater, the Phils looking for a little offense against the Yankees. Phillies' relationship with the city of Clearwater, Clearwater Beach, 69 years. And those are some of the sights that the Phillies fans have gotten a chance to enjoy over the years. Not only the sights at the ballpark, but also the sights just a few miles away. They get a chance to enjoy some sunshine and the warm waters of the Gulf here in Clearwater. It's a great place. Now, today is not as bright a day as you would normally like when you're down here in Florida. The rain has been on and off, but it's still somewhat comfortable at 65 degrees. Changes for the Yankees as we begin the bottom of the 5th inning. Nick Noonan is at shortstop, and the new second baseman is Rob Refsnyder. And taking over out on the mound is Matt Tracy, the left-hander. Tracy last year in 12 games for AAA, had an ERA of 4.45. In AA, in Trenton, he was 8-2 with an ERA of 3.27. And he starts things off against Darren Ruff. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike to Ruff, who struck out his last time up. I do not think Darren thought that was a strike.
Same as the first pitch.
Hit out towards second. And Ruff is retired, 1 out. And here comes Cody Ashe. This is probably the last at bat for the regulars. Although the Phillies only have 2 hits. But it's usually 5 innings the first few days of spring training before there's some adjustments made.
It's Darren Ruff right there. It gets a pitch on the outer half. You let that ball get just a little bit deeper. It's the difference between a ground ball to second and shooting it through that hole for a knock.
I think the ball has jumped off his bat pretty well these first week or so of spring training. I mean, I know he doesn't have the hits to show for it, but would you guys agree with that?
Yeah, he hit that ball hard. It's just, again, a matter of letting that ball just a hair deeper and shooting it to right for a knock as opposed to grinding out to second.
0-1 pitch in there, 0-2. Saw Cody Ashe go get his outfielder's glove today during batting practice. He switched his third baseman's glove with his outfielder's glove, and he went out and shagged some fly balls during BP. Ref Snyder again. And 2 outs for Carlos Ruiz. Live Phillies baseball is back in 2015 with MLB.com at bat on your smartphone or tablet. Stay connected with live radio broadcasts, stats, breaking news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. If you had that app yesterday, then you would have heard Greg Murphy and Larry Anderson doing the game in Kissimmee. 0-1 pitch to Ruiz. Chopper foul.
I tried to listen to the game, but I forgot my password and I could not get in.
Well, you could have done it. You could have called Murph and had to have him put on speakerphone. He could have just listened there.
Wasn't Habs 1-5? Wasn't Habs 1-5?
Habs.
Yeah, the Canadiens. It's your team.
They were on 12. At 10:30 last night.
No, wasn't that the password?
The password.
1-5.
Oh, Habs. Sorry. It's like, how'd you know I was watching the game?
The odds were in your favor.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Ruiz. And he fouls it away. Speaking of the radio crew, today's Scott Fransky's birthday.
Yes, it is. Happy birthday, Scott.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Scott is here in Clearwater. He was building sandcastles yesterday. That was a pretty close pitch, and it's 2-2.
Catchers get that pitch when they're at the plate. Don't take the next one, though, Chooch.
Over toward third. That's a fair ball. And the throw gets away from Roller, and Carlos will be safe at first. Well, Jagielo had time. It was a long throw, but it kind of died about 3 or 4 feet from the bag.
He does a nice job getting over there and planting his feet. Just kind of rushed it like right there a little bit. Knowing that Chooch's not the quickest runner down the base path. He probably had more time, but you see that out of younger players.
Well, they do scored an error, so Carlos is aboard, and Aaron Altair will pinch run for him. Jeff Francoeur will bat, so they get a little faster with Altair.
A little faster?
Well, I was just trying to be nice. Okay, they get a lot faster with Aaron Altair over at first. 0-1 to Francoeur. He grounded out his first time up.
Really good talk with Frenchie today, with Francoeur, about his approach to spring training with hitting, and if he's changed a whole lot. He's trying to get into a power stance to where he feels comfortable that he could hit every pitch.
That one's a grounder to shortstop. They'll get Altair at second. And the side is retired. No runs, no hits. One man left. 5 in the books. We'll head to the 6th inning with the Yankees up. Every day is fun when you spend it at a Phillies game with your group of 25 or more. Take advantage of special group opportunities, including discounts, theme nights, party areas, and much more. No matter what size group, there are always benefits and special options. For more information, check out Phillies.com/group tickets. Jake Diekman's day is done. Kenny Giles will take over. Some changes for the Phillies. Out in right field is Brian Bogusevic. Over at third base is Russ Kanzler, looking a whole lot like Kevin Franzen. Rene Garcia will take over behind the plate for Carlos Ruiz. And Kenny Giles will take to the mound. It was a year ago that we saw him for the first time in a spring training game, coming off a fabulous rookie season. Finished third in the Rookie of the Year voting, 64 strikeouts in 45 2/3. And he will face Ramon Flores to begin the 6th inning. First pitch is in there for a strike, and we do what we do all the time. Look up at the board to see how hard he threw it.
Human nature.
That was at 93. Bob McClure, when we talked with him the other day about the pitchers, we had a nice conversation about all the guys. I thought it was kind of interesting when he was asked about Kenny Giles. He said, what do you do now to prepare him for what is his 2nd season in the big leagues? He said, well, I just leave him alone. He said he's the kind of kid that you just let go. You kind of just leave him to do what he's going to do. Towards center, Herrera.
I got a chance to catch Kenny back in January. He was throwing a bullpen over at Citizens Bank Park, and we did a special on him. We'll air later this month. But I was very impressed. Obviously, he's got a quick arm. But one thing you can look for, a lot of power pitchers, after they release the baseball, they have a kind of a recoil action on their arm. His follow-through is exceptional. It's down and it's through past his left knee. Something that really jumped out at me once I went back and looked at the film. and that'll really prevent arm problems later on.
Aaron Judge, the batter, he takes high. As a catcher, when you're catching somebody, and I'm sure he wasn't throwing 100 at that point.
I bet he was in the mid-90s.
Oh, was he
I'm
really?
telling you, he's letting it go. You see him here, 93, 94.
But is that? Tell me about what that's like when you see that ball on you as a catcher.
Well, it's been a while for me, but it's just, and it's a heavy ball, which always helps. You know, so if, you know, it just creates a lot of rotation. But you know, it's late, and it's, again, you don't really see it, but it just kind of explodes on you, and it really planes out. And he mixed in a bunch of sliders as well. Very late life on that slider. Chooch told me yesterday it's a lot like Brad Lidge's slider. It's very late. It's got good depth to it.
Delivers on the outside corner. It's 3-1. A couple of things that stood out about Giles was just how durable he was last year. And then you carry it over to the offseason. We had a chance to do a number of breakfasts and luncheons together. He's more open. He understands what his role is, what he is, but he's really maturing as a person too, which I think will carry over to the mound.
Really praising Jonathan Papelbon as well. And I talked to him and how much Paps has really helped him out in preparation, to go out and pitch every day in the big leagues, or have the opportunity to pitch every day in the big leagues. Really was singing his praises.
Well, he walks Judge, and now Slade Heathcott will bat. He's 1 for 1. He walked his last time up. Yankees scored 3 runs in the 4th inning. 3 runs on 6 hits overall. Boy, he's right on the edge with a couple of these pitches.
Wasn't that one of the knocks last year, but he didn't pound the strike zone enough before he got to the big leagues?
Before he arrived, yeah.
He came up to the big leagues last year, and it was just consistent. Every at batter he was facing, he was throwing the first pitch strikes for fastballs.
I think the other thing that people wondered is, could he throw his slider for strikes when he needed to? And he certainly, he did some adjusting when he was down in the minor leagues, but that certainly was evident when he came up. Judge is off the bag, and he is out at first base. I don't know if he was trying to time something there, but he thought he had him. And you can hear, get off, or step off.
Pitchers, a lot of time in that situation, they'll panic. Step off. What do I do? But he did a nice job stepping off and delivering a strike to first base. Worst thing you can do right there is panic and throw it in the stands.
3-2. So now 2 outs here in the top of the 6th inning. Giles has the count, 3 balls and 2 strikes to Slade Heathcott. For Giles, like Diekman, who looked really good today, just 1 and done. He won't pitch more than 1 inning here this afternoon. In the dirt, so he's walked a couple batters. And Bob McClure will watch Giles now face Nick Noonan with 2 outs and a runner at first. Noonan up for the first time. Those are his numbers from the minor leagues, where he was with the San Francisco Giants, former #1 pick. Starts him off with a slider. It's 0-1.
Nasty slider. Thinking you're going to get the old heater at 94, 95, and he drops a slider on you.
Excellent play by Garcia right there. Moving laterally. I always found it tougher to go to my right back there blocking the ball for whatever reason. But made a very good stop right here, moving laterally. Not only did he block it, but he actually caught the baseball.
Yeah, that's not an easy pitch, I would imagine, to get in front of the way he was set up.
He doesn't sit particularly high with a runner on base either. Usually like to get your butt above your knees a little bit, but he's still able to sit down a little bit lower. Not only helps the pitcher work down in the zone, also helps Phil Cousy get a better look at the baseball as well.
That one a little high, and it's now 2-1.
Usually a catcher would get down and he'll raise his butt up just a hair. And usually get that up above the knees a little bit. But he really keeps it down. You know, he's obviously Giles keeps missing high, so he wants to give a lower target as possible. So you might want to sit back down just a little bit more just to get that glove down lower, closer to the ground.
Runner will go. Pitch is pulled down the right field line. That'll be an extra base hit. Heathcott is already around third. He's going to score. Bogusevic's throw is over the head of the cutoff man. And the Yankees take a 4-0 lead. So an RBI double, 7th hit of the afternoon for the Yankees. Rosine is back up and throwing in the pen for the Phillies.
Yeah, it's not a very good location with that slider. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Newton's probably looking for a fastball. If you can bury that back foot, he would overswing, and you get the strike up. But he left it up in the zone, and that's what happens when you leave a slider up in the zone. It gets drilled down the right field corner.
Well, he's at 22 pitches at this point. Jagielo is now the hitter, with a runner at second. And he sweeps the slider in. It's 0-1. Gallo's numbers: 18 homers, 58 RBIs in the minor leagues a season ago for the Yankees. Hit sharply out towards second, and Phelps is there. And that will do it for the Yankees here in the 6th inning. But they tack on another one. They get a run on an RBI double by Nick Noonan, and they lead it 4-0. Mobile app. Get breaking Phillies news and analysis from our insiders, plus video, scores, schedules, and more. Visit csnphilly.com/app and download today. Michael O'Neill takes over in left field for the Yankees. There's O'Neill. And in center field, Mason Williams. He got his jersey back from Gary Sanchez, so he's out in center field. And in right field is Taylor Duga. Cord Phelps bunts at the first pitch. He got a piece of it. Matt Tracy continues out on the mound for the Yankees. Phelps has only been up one time. He's 0 for 1. He flied out to left. He'll be followed by Herrera. And then Freddie Galvis. Back toward the middle. Ref Snyder. And 1 out. And here comes Herrera. Odubel Herrera is 1 for 2. Bullpen action for the Phillies. That is Andy Oliver. One of the Rule 5 selections. Herrera is the other one. How much does winning the batting title in the winter leagues, is that helping Herrera now in spring training? I know the pitching's not the same, but how much is that helping him as he gets into a major league camp?
A lot. Confidence. He had a good year last year. He goes to winter ball, plays in a league that has major league pitching going around. Wins the batting title, and he comes in here with a lot of confidence, knowing that he got Rule 5. Has a good opportunity to win a starting job in left field.
Williams is playing pretty shallow. And there are 2 outs.
It means a lot to him personally. They take their baseball, their winter league, very, very seriously over there. So, that means a lot to him.
Well, in a batting title, it doesn't matter, if you're in the minor leagues or if you're in winter ball. I mean, obviously, the major leagues, that's the pinnacle. But if you win a batting title, you're playing a lot of games at that point.
One, you're being healthy. You have an opportunity to play every day. All the hard work you do in the batting cages before the games, in the offseason, whatever it is, pays off. It's a huge confidence builder.
Freddie Galvis swings at the first pitch. Matt Tracy says he's had 2 very quick innings. 6 in the books. Phil's still looking for a little offense as they trail at 4-0. Seven hits today for the Yankees, and they lead it 4-0 as we go to the top of the 7th inning. Greg Bird, Didi Gregorius, and Nick Noonan, each with RBI doubles. For the Phillies, the big thing is that bottom section. Cole Hamels, 2 innings, 2 strikeouts today. And he continued what has been a pretty good week for the Phillies starting pitchers. Chase Darno takes over at shortstop for the Phillies. And Darren Mastriani is now in center field.
Tom, did you ever cramp or something when they were showing tees?
It's one of those things. The camera is always on. That's when I flexed before the game, Ben.
Ah, yes.
Why didn't we show where Ben was wondering about the hair on his arms and how much hair was on his arms? Why did they show me flexing? Well, here's Andy Oliver.
Looked like I had a pelt on my arm.
Oliver last year, 48 games in the minor leagues, a 2.53 ERA. And the first pitch to Rob Refsnyder is taken inside. It's 1-0. Asked Bob McClure the other day, so what do you think of Oliver? He said, I like him. I like his deceptiveness. 27-year-old. Originally drafted in the second round by the Detroit Tigers. And we've seen him one game. That was in the University of Tampa game, the exhibition game. Up high to Refsnyder, and it's 2-1. Can't imagine he would be this kind of a pitcher in the majors, but he had 13 saves last year in AAA. I mean, he's going to be, I don't want to say lefty specialist, but he'd be used in that role, but he would also use maybe for an inning against righties and lefties, but not as a closer.
Not if he's doing that.
No. So a leadoff walk here in the seventh.
First baseman Kyle Roller.
Kyle Roller has scored a run today. He's 0 for 1. He grounded out to shortstop in his only at bat. He came on to pinch run for Mark Teixeira back in the fourth inning. The Yankees scored 3 in that inning. There's some command issues today for some of the relief pitchers for the Phillies.
Well, Hamels and Diekman were really the only two guys that went out and pounded the strike zone.
Check swing by Roller. Did he go? They're not going to appeal, and it's 2-0.
Ben, who's this hitter remind you of?
Kareem Garcia. My Lord. It's a throwback name there, but he's a spitting image.
He does look a little bit like Kareem Garcia.
Same body type.
Garcia, who came to the big leagues as a Dodger, played for a number of teams. So much for keeping these speed-up rules going. 3 balls, 1 strike. Back toward the middle, and that's a base hit for Roller. So Refsnyder goes up to second. The Yankees have first and second with nobody out. And it brings Greg Bird up to the plate once again. Let's check in with Murph. Murph, what do you got going on, bud?
All right, thanks, T-Mac. Well, you know, you guys were out watching batting practice today. You noticed that the Phils were wearing different hats. They were wearing these black hats that say Baseball Assistance Team on them. The BAT program, which is just one of the really terrific programs associated with Major League Baseball. It's an organization that started back in 1986 in order to help anybody struggling in Major League Baseball, whether it be financially or maybe even psychologically, to help them get back on their feet. It's not meant to be something that they keep on using, not like a pension plan, but maybe a one-time help that some of these guys need. Well, the organization was here today to talk to the players. let them know about their organization and what is available, and also to let these guys know that they can donate to help at this point some folks that may need it, and they may need it somewhere down the line. So it's a program that's been going on for quite some time now, and again, it's not just for players, it's for Major League Baseball teams. I know the BAT program came and spoke to the front office of the Phillies earlier in this year. So just a great program to try and help people out if they're down on their luck at any point.
Yeah, they hold a dinner each and every year to help to benefit the BAT program. In fact, the players and the coaches have pledged, will pledge $2.5 million for BAT. That's pretty darn good. Trent Garrison is batter for the Yankees. He's batting for Greg Bird. Counts 3 balls and no strikes. There's a strike. And it's 3-1. Murph is down in the Diamond dugout, the Hooters Diamond dugout. A lot of stuff going on down there today, Murph, huh?
Yeah, always stuff going on all in and around Great House Field. I like to move around a little bit when I can, give you a little bit of a different look. Had to put the jacket on. It's getting chilly down here on the field. It's
one of the new jackets that we have this year.
Temperature down to 61 degrees.
Yeah, watch that. Watch how it's getting a little chilly.
Yeah, that's true. I'm sorry.
Yeah, really.
Put it all in perspective. I'm sorry. You're right.
Runners on first and second. The count's 3-2.
I really just wanted to put the jacket on.
Sharp-looking jacket, Murph.
Yep.
Oh, old school.
You got all kinds of Phillies garb down there. Guy next to you is wearing that green jacket. Is that a Phillies jacket he's wearing next to you?
No, that is not. It's not a Phillies jacket.
Guy behind you has the same jacket you're wearing. He must have purchased that at the.
That's right.
The store here. On the outside corner, and a called strike 3. One out here in the 7th. Dave Schofield is in front of you taking pictures. He's got his camera there, and he probably needs a jacket soon. There's Dave.
Maybe we can get him one.
Guy just tapped you on the shoulder, Murph.
I got all kinds of friends here. Who are we looking at? This guy?
Yeah.
Never saw him before.
Runners on first and second. One man down here in the top of the 7th inning. This is Kyle Higashioka batting for the Yankees. He came on to catch last half inning. .231 batter last year in the minor leagues. And now Oliver steps off. I would think that they're, for a couple of these Rule 5 guys like Andy Oliver, you're working on things at this point in spring training, but he's also trying to get a major league job.
What he's working on this spring training is to impress people.
To get a major league job.
Correct.
Throw strikes and get outs. That's what he's working on right now. He's not out there trying to work on his backdoor slider. He's out there to get outs and produce.
No balls and 2 strikes. Breaking ball. Yeah, it's a good pitch. He got the out. Back-to-back strikeouts. 2 away here in the 7th.
And one thing you see in spring training is that a veteran player might go 0 for 2 after we see this. I thought we were going to see a replay there. Sounded like it, didn't it, Tom?
Here we go.
Hard slider down and in. But it's one of those things where a veteran might go 0 for 2 and it doesn't bother him as much because he knows he's working on things during the game. The younger guys after a game who might go 0 for 2 might go straight to the batting cages, go home and watch film, and they'll let it bother them. And that's the biggest thing is not to allow yourself to worry about too much in that one day.
Well, he's kind of made an adjustment here since these first 2 batters have gotten on, where he is throwing strikes more often. O'Neill 10 home runs last year in the minor leagues. Breaking ball, chopped foul. Boy, that would have been right near Murph's coconut if he was in the same spot. 0-2 the count. got good velocity on his fastball. That one was at 92 miles an hour. Probably lighter than where it would be during the regular season.
I really like the put-away slider he had on Higashioka.
Yeah.
Higashioka.
Well, you certainly have surrounded that name. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Tell you what, Garcia really has a soft upper torso when the ball's in the dirt and he's blocking. It's one thing to get over top, but if you're real rigid, your muscles, your pec muscles get tight and the ball may ricochet. He's really soft, and that ball you see it just right out in front of him.
And there's that put-away pitch that you were talking about, and the technique from the catcher as well. 3 straight strikeouts for Oliver after the first 2 batters reach base. Pretty good bounce back. Take a look at the movement on this pitch against the right-hander. Got him to go fishing. Time to stretch here in Clearwater.
Well, stretch time at Bright House Field, and the Phillies trail the New York Yankees 4-0. Hi, everyone. I'm Michael Barkan. Coming up on Philly Sports Talk at 5, Jeff Mosher joins us as we count down to NFL free agency. What will the Eagles do come Tuesday? And the Flyers get a big win and suffer a big loss. We'll explain all that and more on Philly Sports Talk at 5. Now back to Tom McCarthy at Bright House Field.
Michael, thank you very much. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Mark Montgomery is the new pitcher for the Yankees, and Xavier Paul will be the new hitter for the Phils. Phillies trail at 4-0. They've managed only 2 hits, one by Odubel Herrera, the other one by Freddie Galvis. And the first pitch from Montgomery's taken outside. It's 1-0. Montgomery is out of Williamsburg, Virginia. He went to Longwood University. And last year, between AA Trenton and AAA Scranton Wilkes-Barre, he had a 2.10 earned run average in 39 games. Facing Paul, who is batting for Grady Sizemore. Foul ball, and it's 2-1. Brian Mitchell started for the Yankees. He went 2 innings. As of now, if this score holds up, then Jaron Long would be awarded the victory for New York. Outside, 3-1. one is pulled deep to right field. Going back on it is Dugas, and it is gone. A home run for Xavier Paul. Pretty good grab by that fan out there in right. And Paul, with his first spring training home run, puts the Phillies on the board here in the bottom of the 7th. That was a bullet.
Easy swing as well. Got a nice little 3-1 fastball right down the middle. Nice easy swing, stayed through it, and drove it to right field for a home run. And a fine play by the young lad in left field. The right field.
A good play.
Grass stain and all.
Yeah. There's McGinnis up for the first time, and he takes outside. All right, so Xavier Paul comes off the bench and gets the first run of the day for the Phillies, only their 3rd hit of the afternoon.
All right, Matt, that's cooler than a line drive the other way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, it depends on who you are. No, that's cooler.
Outside, 3 balls and no strikes. Chris McGinnis was a former 13th round selection by the Red Sox out of the Citadel in Charleston. Last year, he spent the season in the minor leagues. The year before that, he did get to the big leagues with Texas. 34 plate appearances, hit 176. And he hits that one off the end of the bat, a spinner out toward 3rd. And I don't think did he slip coming out of the box?
He had no idea where that ball
Didn't know where it was. So Jagailo was able to throw him out easily.
Ball's probably got a smiley face on it.
Yeah, I was watching the way the ball was going out to 3rd, and all of a sudden he was only like 4 feet from home plate. And as Matt said, he had no idea where the ball was. And that'll bring Darren Ruff to the plate. He's 0 for 2. That one slides a little high. It's 1 ball and no strikes.
It's nice to get 3 at-bats this early in spring training. You usually get 2 and you're done, but a chance to see a few more pitches, which is always nice.
At what point in spring training do you guys feel comfortable again seeing live pitching? Does it vary from year to year?
I'm still waiting to feel comfortable.
I tell you when it's not comfortable is facing your own guys the first day in.
Yeah. That first BP, that first.
That's tough.
Okay.
You got the L screen in front of them. I think right now, it's hard because you're not really seeing the same guy for your 3 at-bats. You might get 3 at-bats and 3 different pitchers. But usually after 3 or 4 days, I think you get your timing down, you start to feel comfortable.
That one is spinning out toward the middle, and it's a base hit for Darren Ruff. Now, all the balls he's hit hard so far in the first week of spring training, he only had 1 hit to show for it, and that one he fights off and gets it back toward the middle for a single.
Stayed through it right there. You know, getting back to that, I always thought it was when I felt like my feet weren't flying, like I didn't have fast feet, and I took a nice, easy, slow step. Slow, slow, slow. That enables you to see the ball a lot more. Once you can get into that, I think that's when you start to feel that comfort level.
Well, Ruff is done for the day. Jordan Danks comes on to pinch run for him. Russ Kanzler will be the batter for the Phillies. Again, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Russ Kanzler has spent 2 different seasons in the big leagues, one with the Tampa Bay Rays, the other one with the Cleveland Indians. He is out of Hazleton High School. Last year he was with the Yankees organization before coming over to the Phillies. In fact, played 51 games for the Yankees AAA affiliate, where he had 263. And then played 61 games for the Phils at Lehigh Valley. Two balls, no strikes to Kanzler. That one is hit out toward shallow right field, slicing toward foul territory, and a nice play by Dugas. And Danks to go back to first. Well, he knew that ball was slicing away from him, but I'm not sure if he knew until he got there that the stands were right in front of him.
He came a long way from right field, too. Good concentration. Jamie be happy. 2 hands.
2 hands.
Static.
Here's Rene Garcia. And the first pitch a little high. 1 ball, no strikes. Looks like Andy Oliver is going to pitch again for the Phillies in the 8th inning. Nobody's warming up in the pen. Ground ball to shortstop, and they get the lead runner at second. Phillies do score a run on the home run by Xavier Paul. They lead 1. 7 in the books. This is a line shot off the bench for Xavier Paul. Like he knew it as soon as it left the bat. That young man knew it as well as he found his glove. Turkey Hill Kids Opening Day will be Sunday, April 12th at 1:35 when the Phillies take on the Washington Nationals. It's the final game of that series against Washington. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com. A Phillies bat pack free to fans 14 and under. There it is. It's the beauty of a giveaway. There's a number of great giveaways this year you can check out by going to Phillies.com. Jordan Danks stays in the ball game for the Phils, and he'll be in left field. He came on the pinch run for Darren Ruff. We go to the top of the 8th inning. Andy Oliver will work once again, and he will face Taylor Dugas, who walked his first time up. And Oliver delivers a little low and in. 1 ball and no strikes. Speaking of the Washington Nationals, who we'll see that first weekend, you guys think that, I mean, obviously they're the reigning champs in the National League East. Has anybody done enough to overtake them in the division this year, or are they still the team to beat with the addition of Max Scherzer and the pitching staff that they already have?
They're going to be tough. I think, I mean, as long as they stay healthy, it's going to have a very good 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rotation. Usually you're like 1, 2, 3, and hopefully you get 4 and 5.
I thought you were going to go to 6 if you.
Well, they might. Florida could be pretty strong.
Yeah, the Marlins have made a lot of changes. Breaking ball, that's in there, 2-2. Well, the Mets got a boost today. Matt Harvey, according to stories that I read, 96 on his fastball in his 2 innings of work. So I guess he's taking the right step back from that Tommy John surgery.
Best thing he ever did was getting that done when he got it done. You know, you see a lot of guys, and you see it with Tanaka, with the Yankees. You have a slight tear in your UCL, your ulnar collateral ligament. And I know I had Tommy John. It's not going to repair itself. I don't know what these guys are really thinking, but Harvey did the right thing getting that thing cut on while he's young enough. He's bouncing back, and 96 this early in spring. Hello.
Under the feet of Oliver into center field, a base hit, so a leadoff single for Dugas. So he's aboard. Mason Williams will be the batter. Now, when you had the Tommy John surgery, that wasn't when you became a pitcher, right? That was before that?
Yeah, this is back in 05. That's with Chicago.
So you were still catching at that point?
I was.
Was it a surprise to you that was the injury, or did you feel it as soon as you did it?
I felt it as soon as I did it. And I played with it for a couple years. I did it in Seattle. I remember the day it happened. Arthur Rhodes was pitching. Torrey Hunter was on first. He stole. I came up and just felt a pop. But I continued to play with it. So,
how were you able to get anything on your throws if you had that?
I still had a lot on it. It wasn't obviously a complete tear. So I was still able to go out and play. And anti-inflammatories, I was able to get through most games.
Williams hit a booming double the other day in Tampa against the Phillies. That one is out toward right field. Bogusevic is a step or two from the track. And there's one out. Back to first base goes Dugas. Well, as we mentioned, the Nationals are the reigning champs in the National League East. And last season they won 96 games. Very comfortably ahead of the Braves and the Mets. And of course, the Marlins. And the Phillies were in the basement 23 games off the pace. It wasn't the case the entire year. It was tight for a little bit of the season. Outside, 1-0. Some other news in baseball. The World Series champions. They got some bad news with Hunter Pence being hit by a pitch. And broke has a non-displaced fracture in his forearm. He's out 6 to 8 weeks. One ball, no strikes to Nick Noonan.
Hey, watch that replay of Hunter getting hit with the pitch, and it's amazing how Major League ball players do not know how to get out of the way or get hit by a pitch properly. You're supposed to roll with the pitch. Well, these guys are opening up so much. That's why guys are getting drilled and they can't get out of the way. Stanton last year when he got hit in the face.
Yeah.
Watching the replay of it, I didn't think, I mean, you never know where a ball hits you, what damage it's going to cause. I mean, I didn't think at the time that it was going to be something like that, like a fracture to Pence. 1-2 pitch. Fastball just missed. Two balls and 2 strikes. There he goes. Fly ball, left field. Danks comes in. There are 2 outs. So here's Eric Jagielo. All right, what do you guys think so far about Andy Oliver? And this is going to be 2 innings. It looks like he's going to give them. I know he's given up a couple hits, and he's walked 1 batter, but he's got 3 strikeouts.
Really bounced back after the first couple hitters. And that's really what you like to see out of your pitchers. Obviously, the leadoff walk. What happened? Scored. But he's made the adjustments.
Best case scenario, it seems like Bob McClure and Ryan Sandberg would like to have 3 left-handers in the bullpen. I know not every team can go that way, but they'd like to have 3 left-handers in the bullpen. Just from the conversations we've had with them, I know, Antonio Bastardo was traded, obviously, so that's 1 spot where somebody like Oliver could be used.
See, the plus you have with Diekman is he can get righties and lefties out.
No question.
So that is a huge plus for Ryan Sandberg and Bob McClure.
And I think the best case scenario is the way Hollins threw last year, is to have him maybe against lefties in a lot of ways. Just outside again, 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes.
Yes, he did.
Garcia's throw on 1 hop, not in time. No appeal. You'd appeal this, wouldn't you, Ben?
Yeah.
There's no third base umpire.
Yeah, he's on the
third base coach.
Yeah. Ask Joey Espada if he went or not. There's DJ Rayburn. He's like, I don't know. Nobody's asking me.
No clue.
Russ Kanzler says he went over to third base. Swing and a miss. No matter, he got him. Just took 1 extra pitch. Oliver, 4 strikeouts in 2 innings of work here this afternoon. He leaves 1 here in the 8th inning. The Phillies down by 3. Will go back to work offensively when we return. You know, Phillies games are fun for a group, but do you know how charitable they can be? Groups of 25 or more eligible for fundraising opportunities that benefit their designated cause. It's a great way to raise funds and awareness. Learn more at phillies.com/group tickets. We're winding down here, bottom of the 8th inning. The Seagulls are finding their way to the ballpark. A game that was delayed because of rain for about an hour. The new pitcher is right-hander Brandon Pinder, who we saw the other day pitch for the Yankees, former 16th round selection in 2011. Last year in the minor leagues, 5 saves and a 2.06 earned run average. After last season, the Yankees protected him on the 40-man roster, which meant that he would not be eligible for the Rule 5 drafts. First pitch to Brian Bogusevic is taken outside, 1-0. Luis Garcia starts to throw in the pen for the Phils, so it looks like he'll be the next guy out in the 9th inning. In the dirt. Bogusevic back in 2012 played in 146 games for the Astros. He had 203. He had 7 home runs, 28 runs batted in. Swing and a miss. He is struck out to begin this 8th inning. And Cord Phelps will come up for the 3rd time.
Hard slider, a little hard cutter. Downhill tilt to it.
A lot of depth on that. That's usually sliders are more lateral. That had a lot of downward movement.
Phelps is 0 for 2. He's flied to left. He's also grounded out to second. Outside, 1-0. Sharply off the mound, but gobbled up at shortstop. 2 away here in the 8th inning. Nick Noonan takes care of Cord Phelps.
Hey, Sharon.
Pinder was pitched a little bit in high school, but it wasn't until college when he really became a pitcher. I mentioned a former catcher when he was in high school. It's not surprising, though, as Ben could attest, that he has a strong arm. If he caught so much when he was younger, it's not often that a catcher will get a chance to pitch on the lower levels and the amateur levels because, well, first of all, they don't want to ruin their arm, but second of all, if they're that good of a catcher, they don't want to move him from behind the plate.
Exactly.
How did the pitching career go?
That was okay.
Did you enjoy it?
I loved it. Because I knew how hard hitting was. I figured if I know if I can put a ball in a certain spot, I was going to get an out.
Mastriani out to right field. An easy 8th inning for Pinder. Phillies go down 1-2-3. Been somewhat of a quiet day for the Phils offense. They've managed 4 hits and just 1 run. Tonight at 5, get all the latest on the Eagles in the final few days before free agency. Plus, former Villanova head coach and my former camp counselor, by the way, Steve Lapis, breaks down the Wildcats' final 4 chances. Watch Philly Sports Talk, presented by Comcast Business on Comcast Sportsnet. Steve Lapis is joining the television coverage of this year's NCAA tournament for the first time. Lap's been one of my partners on college basketball over the years. Matt, you're really good with the telestrator.
Yep.
Lap is as good as you are at the telestrator in basketball.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, he can telestrate anything. Here's Luis Garcia. Last year split time between the Phillies and AAA, where he was an all-star in AAA, 0.96 earned run average. Facing Rob Refsnyder, who walked in his only at-bat. First pitch, a ground ball foul.
Now, Tom, when you do the tele in basketball, does it have all these snowman and rain-in and
no
all the programs?
No, you have more at your disposal than we have during basketball.
I got a Japanese map, I got a world map, and I got a soccer field.
You're pretty good with the soccer field earlier.
There's no soccer field.
I could break down the world map and do a little tell where everyone's from.
I don't know if you have enough space. 1 ball, 1 strike to Refsnyder. And he fights off and hits it out toward right field, a base hit. Leadoff single here in the 9th inning. And Kyle Roller will be the hitter. Well, tomorrow we'll be back at it. The Phillies will take on the Toronto Blue Jays. Game will be on the Comcast network beginning. We'll be on there at 1 o'clock. Mark Burley against Jerome Williams. Those first 2 innings will take about 20 minutes between those 2 guys.
You are not lying.
That was a kiss of death right there. It'll be about an hour and 10 minutes.
Nah, I feel good about it. And we do think that Jerome is definitively starting tomorrow off a nice appearance his last time out as a reliever. I think there's been a lot of positives from a pitching standpoint from the starters. I thought Cliff Lee yesterday, what he did and the way he went through his first couple of innings, that was huge for Bob McClure to see.
The starters have done a great job. Jerome, actually, his last appearance, he had to go back out to the bullpen to finish up because he didn't reach his pitch limit.
Yeah, so he was at 35 pitches in his first game. And he's not working on 4 days rest, but he'll probably be a little above that, maybe 40 pitches.
I'd say
in a second
around there.
Yeah, probably closer to 50.
Yeah. Swing and a miss, and Roller is out on strikes. 1 out here in the 9th inning.
Get to see Papelbon tomorrow.
Yeah, Pap's been bouncing around during spring training. I mentioned before he's had a pretty good influence on the young pitchers again. You know, the Kenny Giles, the Diekmans, those kind of guys. Here's Trent Garrison, and he hits 1 out towards second. This should be 2. There's 1, and there's 2. So a 4-6-3 double play. Quick work for Luis Garcia to get through the 9th inning. Last chance for the Phillies when we return. Phillies trail it 4-1 to the Yankees. Yankees with 4 runs on 10 base hits. You see what the Phillies have done. 1 run on 4 hits. The 1 run was a home run by Xavier Paul. So now as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning, same pitcher, Brandon Pinder, with a pretty quick inning. His last time out will be the pitcher for the Yankees. No other changes for the Yankees. Chase Darno will lead things off for the Phillies. It wasn't too long ago when the Phillies had a Darno in their farm system. Travis Darno is now the catcher for the New York Mets, was in the Roy Halladay deal. And Chase was with the Pirates organization. So he'll bat here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Last year, Pittsburgh's AAA team, he had 250 with 2 homers. Swing for the first pitch. Oh, they're wasting no time here in these last couple innings. 1 out. And now Paul will bat for the 2nd time. Strike 1, it's 0-1. Xavier Paul's been in the big leagues with the Dodgers and the Pirates. But if you're the Yankees, you're going to be pretty happy. This kid's got some pretty good stuff. Everything seems to be down in the zone, too. Larry Rothschild, their pitching coach.
All the Yankees pitchers have thrown well today, especially Mitchell.
Yeah, Mitchell was the starter. He went the first couple of innings.
You know, normally you see a catcher that's converted to a pitcher, very short. Troy Percival, Mott with the Cardinals. They're very short arm. He's got some length in his arm where he creates that circle back behind his head.
Out toward left center field. That's well hit. Playable, though, for O'Neill or the center fielder Williams. And Williams, who does run well, was able to get to that spot and put it away for the 2nd out. That's going to leave it for McGinnis with 2 men down here at the bottom of the 9th inning. Danks out on deck for the Phillies as McGinnis takes outside. 1 ball, no strikes. There's Danks. On the outside corner, 2-2. Last couple of fastballs been 92, 93 with good placement.
Late movement as well.
Yep. Up high.
Work 'em.
4. So the Phillies have a base runner with 2 men down. That'll bring Jordan Danks to the plate.
Let's go, Jordan.
Jordan Danks was in the big leagues with the Chicago White Sox. He's a big fella.
Yes, he is.
There goes the runner. The pitch is low, no throw, and Guinness pulls into second. They'll score that defensive indifference. He wasn't being held on over at first. So fielder's choice. 1 ball and no strikes.
This is an area right here, 3 balls, 1 strike. See the different grip right there. The last hitter I've seen have that type of grip was Ken Harvey to Kansas City back in 2005.
Wow. Bobby Abreu had kind of an interesting, it wasn't like that, but it was interesting the way he had his hands. It was different than most guys. And ball 4. We didn't get a chance to see it there, but is that to whip the bat through a little bit more? Why would you hold your hands that way?
Well, the only thing I can think of is right here. I mean, right in here with the hands the way it is. I'm thinking it's more of a relaxed top hand.
Okay.
You know, a lot of hitters will sit there and they'll relax the bat in their hand. But for me, it's different because you wouldn't have a great grip on the bat. Now that one there, to me, it just seems like I'd boomerang it in the stand.
Yeah, you would lose it.
Right.
Kind of. You mentioned we saw before with Freddie Galvis how his hands were a little different and the bat was a little different. But yeah, you're right. It seemed like he'd lose control of it.
And I was always a firm believer the top hand has to be loose on the bat. But that is very loose when you're holding the bat that way.
All right, so the Phils bring the tying run to the plate. It's a similar situation to what we had the other day. When the Yankees tied it up, Russ Kanzler will be the batter, and he swings at the first pitch out toward right field. This should stay in the yard, and it will. And the Yankees hang on to win it today by a final of 4-1. So the Phils did bring the tying run to the plate in their half of the ninth, but could not muster much. So Ryan Sandberg's team, only 4 hits here this afternoon. The only run, the home run by Xavier Paul. So the Phils with their second loss of the spring. They lose at 4-1. We'll be back to wrap it up right after this.